Welcome to the Women, Faith Plus Business podcast. I'm your host, Nadine Mullings. I'm an author, speaker, and marketing mentor, and I believe in the importance of women of faith in business stepping up and shining in their lane so they can have the impact, income, and influence they were born to make. Join me this season to hear the stories of powerful women of faith who have authored a purpose-driven book to make a difference in the world. And be sure to join the Women Faith Plus Business community on Facebook by going to nadinemullings.com/community. That's nadinemullings.com/community. See you in the powerful community of women of faith in business, and enjoy this episode of the Women Faith Plus Business podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Women Faith Plus Business podcast. I'm excited to have our next guest with us today. She is amazing. She's actually a new friend of mine. We've been connected online for a while, but just recently, I think our connection has grown stronger. We connected through Ladies Power Lunch, so shout out to Dr. Davia Shepherd and her community over there and all the amazing things that she's doing. And so we've been connected on a couple of times through that platform. So I'm excited to have a conversation today with Mary Ann Pack. And Mary Ann is the author of We Are Joy, ReAwaken Your Joy. So I'm really excited to have a conversation about joy because joy is one of the fruits of the Spirit. And I think it's so important for us to learn more about really leaning into the fruits of the Spirit. So we're going to have a conversation all around joy. So I already told you how amazing Mary Ann is, but I do want to officially introduce her. So I am going to share her bio. So Mary Ann Pack is a spiritual guide, best-selling author, and publisher at Envision Greatness Press, and a joyologist. I love that word. She is a joyologist. So if you've never met a joyologist before, here's your first time meeting a joyologist. Her mission is to spread more love and joy in the world by writing, publishing, coaching, and podcasting to support others as they use their voices for messages of hope and healing. Love that. If you have a book being called through you, want to participate in a collaborative book project, need ghostwriting, or need a customized journal to up-level an event or program, you can visit her website at envisiongreatness.com to explore publishing and joy mastery coaching. Let's write the world happy, one word at a time. Welcome to the podcast, Mary Ann.
Thank you so much, Nadine. I so appreciate being here. I appreciate the invitation. And of course, I love talking about joy. So this is right up my alley.
Exactly. And I love your book, and we have the book cover. So for those watching the podcast, you can see the book cover in the background, really illuminating, highlighting that we are joy, right? Reawaken your joy and the importance of reawakening the joy that already exists inside of you. So we're going to talk about the book, but I just want to share a little snippet about the book before we get into the conversation. So it says, how do we change our belief system to become joy and by extension, invite more joy? In this debut edition of the We Are Joy series, Reawaken Your Joy, author Mary Ann Pack takes the reader on the first of many journeys to a more joyful life, starting with the premise that we come from a spiritual realm and that you are joy, no matter what anyone else has told you. This gem of a guide brings the reader through the steps necessary to finding and becoming joy itself. You will begin with a challenge to belief systems and old habits through thoughtful prose and personalized writing and reflecting prompts. Begin to explore how you can learn to put yourself first, soothe old fears, and move from confusion to clarity. I love that, confusion to clarity. I might have to take that. That's a good one.
Go ahead.
At the center of this work is a strong foundation in spirituality and the innate knowledge of your own inner source, which makes awakening and honored to move forward. Learn how to release toxic beliefs, set healthy boundaries, and honor your soul's calling. Become joy. It's a universal truth that we are called to live a life of joy. Begin your journey now. Awesome. So I love that description of the book, Mary Ann, and just really embodying joy, right? So it always is a journey for us to get to a published book. It starts with an initial inspiration or initial idea or an initial thought. So, Mary Ann, I'd love for you to share with the audience what was that inspiration, idea, or thought that made you start the process of creating the book and then publishing the book, We Are Joy?
Oh, thank you. I have been studying joy for a while, and because I wasn't my background, and so when I discovered to be more joyful and how and how it comes about and who I really am, it just sparked such a desire. It was an inspiration to share that because it made such a paramount difference for my life and how I approached life and how I looked at me in the world and then seeing others in the world. So for me, there's a quote that I have in the book. Can I read that for you all? Um,
Absolutely. We'd love for you to read it.
this is the quote that really made all the difference for me. It just sprang to life, um, new thoughts and new love for myself and for others. So this is a quote. It's from Abraham Hicks. You may or may not be familiar with them, but the quote is, "You are joy, looking for a way to express." It's not just that your purpose is joy, it is that you are joy. You are love and joy and freedom and clarity expressing, energy, frolicking and eager. That's who you are. And so, if you're always reaching for alignment with that, you're always on your path, and your path will take you into all kinds of places. You are pure positive energy that translates into the human emotion of joy. Doesn't
That
that
is
just throw your
awesome.
socks off
It
to
does. That's
know that
amazing.
I'm joy? I'm joy because that God spark in me is joy,
Exactly.
and it's my purpose. My purpose is to experience as much joy as possible. So that just did it for me. I knew that as I was writing so many blogs and so much writing for my clients and teaching, that uh, that I had to express it in a bigger way. And so that's what inspired me to write this particular book and start the We Are Joy book series. So
Yeah. I love that. Couple of things I want to talk to you about. The first one is the fact that we are joy. It's not that we're seeking joy or
yes,
that we have to go after joy. We're actually already joy. I think that's a shift for a lot of people, right? It's a
yes,
shift for me, right? To know that I'm already joy. It's not that
yes,
I need to chase joy, seek joy, go after joy. It already exists inside of me. So I
that's
think that's super powerful. And also the fact that a lot of times people confuse, I feel, joy and happiness. So I
yes,
think we need to have a discussion or a conversation about the difference between joy and happiness and how they're actually very different and what that means when you are joy versus you may have happiness, right?
absolutely. Um, Happiness is always a conditional uh, expression, emotion, because something has to happen. We're given something. There's something happened better than maybe what could have happened. So you're happy about that. It's always conditional. Whereas joy, being who you are, you can even have joy in times of grief or turmoil. There can be a joy welling up in our soul that isn't happiness, it's joy because it's who we are. There is no condition for joy.
So
So,
good.
because we are, it's who we are.
Yeah.
There's no condition attached to it. And that's to me the difference. So happiness is a lower vibrational experience. They're wonderful. It's wonderful to be happy, but to be in joy is knowing who you are as that God spark, that inner God spark that holds life. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. That's so key. I think knowing that happiness is conditional, right? So it's based on what's happening, right? Happiness
Exactly.
is based happening, it's based on a circumstance, but joy is already who we are. So it's unconditional, right?
Yes.
Happiness is based on a condition, joy is unconditional. And as you were speaking, it reminds me of something that happened a couple years back. I was on a trip. I went to Houston, Texas with my family, and like right after we landed, and we decided to go out for breakfast, and we went to breakfast at this restaurant, had a great time. We were laughing and we were talking, got back to the car and realized that our car had been smashed and grabbed. So they smashed the window, they took out our suitcases. My sister happened to have all of her passports and some important documents in in one of the cases. And in that moment, what was happening to us was not good. We were robbed, right? Our things
Mhm.
were stolen. But as we were standing around the car, we started to just make jokes. My niece said to my sister, she's like, "Well, you really didn't like that picture in your passport, so now it gives you an opportunity to change that picture." And in that moment, as weird as it sounds, there was some joy in it, right? Despite the circumstances
That's
of being robbed, despite the circumstances of things being stolen from us, we experienced joy and so many other things about that situation that was really just spiritual. But when you were talking about it's not based on a condition, it's already inside of you. It made me just feel like sharing that story as an example of experiencing joy despite the circumstances, right?
yes, yes,
So
yes.
that's awesome. So when you decided to write this book, and also it's a series, so I do want to talk about that idea of making it a series, how that came about. But first, I want to talk about the vision for the original book. What was your vision for the book? Was your vision maybe always doing a series, or did that come up afterwards? So tell us a little bit about the vision for We Are Joy, Reawaken Your Joy. What was that?
It was. It was always going to be a series, and I think that's why um, I started that because I knew I wanted journals to be in it. I wanted there to be other authors that helped me write other books. And so I've had anthologies in there. I have two different types of journals, and one that I co-wrote with another friend, another colleague. And so I already had a vision of some of the types of books that I wanted it to be in, and for people to be able to have more than just this one resource. Yes, this is my foundational book. This is where I introduce you to who you are, what your purpose is. How do we deal with the thieves of joy? How do you get back to joy when you're just not feeling it? These are some of the chapters and topics that I address in this book because they're all important to how we start living our lives differently than maybe we have in the past, and bring that joy into our awareness. So yeah, for me, I knew it was going to be a series, and I wanted the first book to be a very foundational book to give you, and that's again, I knew also that all of the books that I wrote would have integrative exercises because we don't need more knowledge. We needed the integration so that we can actually walk the walk and talk the talk. We're doing it all instead of, you know, saying one thing and walking a different way. So this foundational book was really important for me to have that as the first book, to give everybody clarity of what to expect coming up in the series.
Yeah, that's so good. I love that you shared that, Marianne, because I feel like a lot of us feel like it's a series. Like even from the very first book, you feel like there's more to this story, there's more to
Yeah.
this movement, there's more ways to share this message. So I love that you shared a part of the vision was collaborative effort. So the first foundational book was you as a solo author, but in the series, it also includes collaboration books with other authors contributing to the topic of joy. I love that you mentioned journaling too, because sometimes we can have a book in mind, but then we have a complementary thing that goes along with the book, like a
Yes.
journal or a planner or something along those lines. So that makes it more than just the one book. And of course, there's other ways that you can go, like courses and workshops and all those other things that makes it, more than just the one book. So I love that your vision was always bigger than the one book. It was
Oh,
always
yes.
bigger than, yeah. So let's talk about the content of the book. You started getting into that a little bit about We Are Joy. So tell us about a couple of maybe the chapters or whatever comes to mind as some of the key messages from the book that you'd like to share with the audience. I know you started talking about things that steal our joy. That might
Mhm.
be a good place to start. The thief of our joy. And anything else you feel led to share as far as like what we can experience when we read We Are Joy and Reawaken Your Joy. What's some of the information that's shared in the book?
Yeah. The just real quick, a few of the chapters are, start with the basics. We are joy. So that introduces you to who you are and your purpose. Selfishly seek joy. We're always taught, oh, don't be selfish. But we only have a self perspective. We don't have an other perspective. So we need to, it's like the oxygen on your face first before you help someone else. So you're attending to your own joy first and making sure that that cup is full so that it's overflowing into the saucer and you give from the saucer.
Ooh, that's
Um,
so good. Let's kind of talk a little about on that point because I think that goes into the whole movement of self-care.
yes,
Really understanding what brings you joy, what fills you up so you can present yourself better in the world, so you can support other people because you're filled up. So would you say that's really a part of like self-care and the self-care movement, or is it different than self-care and that the whole self-care movement?
self-care, I love self-care, but it's self-love. And it's imperative that we love ourselves because we can't give something we don't already have within our lives. So, the best thing that you can give anyone is to love yourself, to know that
Yeah.
you're joy, so that you have something to give because then you are of great value, influence, you can help people along their path. So for me it's definitely uh, it's even bigger than, to me, just self-care, because we think of self-care as more the external things, whereas self-love is deep and it's rich and it's knowing who we are.
Love that. So important to have that self-love. And love is another fruit of the spirit, right? It
Yes,
goes along
yes,
with joy, love, joy, peace. So it's all about really recognizing and leaning into the fruit of the spirit, which we are gifted with. So tell us a little bit more about some other chapters. I know you were reading some of the
yes.
content.
One of the chapters is how to soothe your fear, because once you realize fear is guidance, it kind of takes the power away from it, because it's just telling you, hey sister, you're headed in the wrong direction here. Let's change our perspective, because God loves us unconditionally. So that always feels good to think about. So if we're fearful, we're certainly not feeling good. So how to soothe that fear, how to overcome that.
Yeah,
um
that's a good one. I just want to stop on there real quick too, because
yeah.
fear, I think, is what stops us a lot in life and in business. We're fearful of making a mistake, fearful of, making the wrong choices, fearful of, not showing up the way that we need to. There's so many things we can fear, right?
Oh,
So to
yes.
know that of a part of a book that's about joy includes fear, right? And making sure we're aware of our fear. And look, I love how you worded it as fear is just kind of giving us a sign that we're going in the wrong direction, or is it also giving us a feeling like there's something here that we need to work through, would you say?
It It can be,
Mm.
because, fear to me is the guidance that's saying, um, you have this belief that is not serving you. It's not for your highest good. It's not for your benefit. So, for me coming into being joy and realizing that I'm joy, I had to kind of evaluate some of those beliefs that didn't feel joyful. So, do I need to tweak them, or do I need to just discard them and fill them in with something else that is truth, the joy, the truth, the love of who I am? So,
Yeah.
yeah, it can be pinpointed. It can kind of be pointing. It's an indicator, it's a guidance.
Yeah. It's like
But
it's
to know
something
that
on your.
it's not something bigger, it takes
Mm.
that power away, where it's
True.
not as big a thing to think, oh, I'm in fear. Well, it's just guiding you. It's just telling you, go this way, go over here instead
Yeah, it's
with
kind
your
of like a
thoughts.
dashboard on your car. Like when like it has the check engine light or the oil light. It's like, okay, it's
Yes,
an indicator that something needs addressing. So it's
absolutely.
not something to be scared of, but embrace it, as
Mhm.
Marianne said, as an indicator. So I love that. Awesome. Anything else you want to share on the chapters or?
Yeah, just there's tips on here for moving from confusion to clarity. I talk about people pleasing not being sustainable. Um, to know what's active in our lives, in our vibration, in our beliefs and thoughts. The thieves of joy, those little things, like for me, my number one was complaining. I found
Ooh.
myself to be the queen of complaining for many years, and I made myself sick over it. So I have a whole list of them. And then, of course, in the integrative questions, I ask, what are your thieves of joy? How to move into joy when you're just not feeling it. Um, to know who you really are. Have a great day unless you've made other plans. How do you make it a great day? You start the night before. So, and plan on those great days. So,
I love that.
and feel better first. Feel better. Set your mind to that, and know that that's who you are. And so it was so much fun putting these together and then creating the integrative exercises to help people actually integrate and apply them.
Yeah,
That's
that's so
such a
important.
delight.
And I think that's what's really good about, books that have those exercises where you can go deeper than just reading the information, like you said, but integrating it and really making it and transforming yourself by being able to make it a part of your life. So it's not just information, but it's an opportunity for you to transform in your life. So I love that. So if someone was to read your book, I know everything that you shared, I definitely need to go and pick up this book so I can joy on a regular basis in the steps and practical principles of embodying joy. If someone was to read the book, or what was your thought of the readers walking away from the book? What would be the one word or even a phrase that you would like them to take away from reading the book? What would that one word or one phrase be after reading We Are Joy, Reawaken Your Joy? What would you want that reader to take away from the book?
I want everyone to know that they are joy. Again, for me, that quote that I read, I actually turned it into my own. I made it personalized. So I said, I am joy, looking for a way to express. So again, I would hope that the readers finally realize that they truly are joy embodied. They are love and joy. And like you said, peace, um, those gifts of the spirit, so that's who we really are. Just take it on, acknowledge it, own
Yeah.
it.
I
Yeah,
love that. So taking away from this book is you are joy. And you can even change it to an affirmation, a daily affirmation of
I
I
do.
am, right? I am joy and step into that affirmation on a daily basis. So I love that the phrase for this book is not just the fact that you are joy, but turn that into an affirmation.
Yes,
I
it is.
am joy. Repeat that every day and step into and embody the fact that you are joy. So, so good. Now, if people are interested in actually purchasing the book, what's
Mhm.
the best way for them to purchase the book?
They can go to envisiongreatness.com, my website, and I have a store. And they can order the book there, and I'll sign a copy to them. So it's an autographed copy. You can also find it on Amazon. All of my books are on Amazon, so you can just look up We Are Joy, Reawaken Your Joy, Mary Ann Pack, and you'll find it easily. My whole series is on there, so it won't just be that book by itself. You can tap into the others in the series. But I would love to send you a signed copy, and you can only get that through my website.
Are you a woman of faith in business who has a desire to get more clients, make a difference, and make a huge impact in the world? Nadine Mullings Marketing Agency helps women of faith in business develop a marketing strategy so they can market their book, brand, or business with clarity and confidence so they can acquire clients with ease and flow. Call us at 954-947-7510 or reach us at nadinemullings.com. I said, awesome. I love that. So go to envisiongreatness.com to get the signed copy. So if you want the signed copy from Marianne, go ahead and go to the website. But of course, it is still available on Amazon for those of us that have Amazon Prime and love to shop on Amazon, right? You can also purchase the book there. And I wanted to ask before we close out with the final question is the series. We talked about the fact that, it's a series and there's other things in it. So I wanted you to share with the audience. I know if they go to the website, they'll see all the different aspects of the series. What else is in the series? So this kicked off the series with the solo book. What are the other aspects or elements of the series?
The second book is called Sacred Crystals. I wrote that with another lady who is an expert in crystals. I love crystals and using them, the energy God gives them to us to use. They make a difference in our lives. The third book is a gratitude journal. So that's to help people. It's a 6-month journal, so it's a very large book. Um, the fourth book is Unmuted Voices. That was a collaboration, an anthology with 12 other women who talk about how they unmuted their voice to find their voice. And it was the podcast series, so we actually transcribed the podcast. So it's a very conversational book. You get to hear directly from these ladies about how they unmuted their voice to become more joyful. The fourth book, I'm trying to think what that one is. Oh, that was Unmuted Voices. The fifth book is it's a small journal style book, and it's called My. Let me think. My
I
Dream
know
Life
that's what
Story.
happens when you have so many books. It's like, what
Yes,
was that book again?
yes, My Dream Life Storybook. And it's a
Nice.
30-day journal type book that helps you express. I give the title for the chapters, and then you write about all the wonderful things about you and about what you want, and write it as if it's already happened. So you're writing it to put it into the universe to say, God, this is what I want. This is who I am. I see myself to be. And then it's a keepsake so that you can go back and check to see how quickly it starts manifesting.
Yeah.
And then the one coming up is going to be um, keys to, oh my goodness, I have just lost it. We've been working on it this whole year. Keys
I
to
know. It's
joyful
like when
living.
someone puts you on the spot and it's like your
Oh,
brain goes like, "Oh, I don't remember."
Keys to Joyful Living. So, and that is
Awesome.
also an anthology that will be coming out at the end of the year.
Yeah, and I love that you shared the series because the series is so diverse. That's what
It
I love
is.
about your series. The second book was a co-author situation,
Right.
right? And then you had the collaboration, so the anthologies with several authors, and then you have the smaller things like I think you are a great example of just various ways that you can put the message out there, various forms that you can put the book out there. So a series doesn't have to look exactly the same. It doesn't have to be the same format, the same even type of authors or even type of book. So I love how diverse your series is. I think that's awesome. So check out the series and all the other things that she has to offer on the website. And finally, Marianne, if people want to connect with you and all the amazing work and how you help other authors in the world, what's the best way for them to connect with you?
They can either go to my website, envisiongreatness.com. I have a little link there, or you can find me on Facebook. I have a Marianne Pack coaching. I'm sorry, Marianne Pack Consulting, I believe. I can't remember. But yeah, you can find me on Facebook. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm pretty much everywhere. So
Awesome. I love that. So again, go to her website, envisiongreatness.com, and then connect with her on those socials, Facebook, LinkedIn, all those great platforms. So this has been a joy, and I say that intentionally to chat with you today, Marianne. Thank you so much for being a part of the Women Faith Plus Business podcast. Thank you for listening to the Women Faith Plus Business podcast. I hope this episode has been insightful and inspiring and has offered you an opportunity to take action to transform your life and your business. Wherever you are listening, be sure to rate and review the podcast and also subscribe to get the next episode right in your inbox by going to womenfaithandbusiness.com to join our email list.